as you know from my last video, I managed at one point to get a couple of comments in on Aaron Smith-Levin's channel, who is run by a couple of friends of his at the moment because he's in jail. And here's one of these comments. I'm going to talk about it afterwards, but you can sort of let's kind of analyze it a little bit. This is Marlin, who is Marlin. I'm trying to pronounce her name properly. Sorry, but anyway, I brought up this comment about the comment is really in relation to Alex Barnes-Ross, where Alex says there's no right or wrong way of protesting, and this is my response to that. It was starred and it was brought up. Now Marlin has a little bit of difficulty answering this one, so let's see what happens. Not trying to put her on the spot or anything like that, but just, you know, let's see what's going on. I should have moved it forward slightly. What is happening here? I need to come over here, actually. Yes, right, now let's go.
April?
Yeah, but I gotta get up flat. Thank you so much.
Here we go.
Okay. Wrong way to protest is getting arrested for acting a fool. Nobody really wants that. It affects everyone.
Right. As it says, it was in relation to Alex Barnes-Ross comment about, you know, there's no right or wrong way of protesting. I also wanted to challenge Marlin in this, and I wanted to challenge the people in the chat, the people that are watching, you know, and see what the response actually was going to be.
Okay.
You see, she's going to take a second to think about it because she doesn't want to answer this question. It's a bit of a difficult one for her, and she's not very happy at the moment that the question was actually brought up to her because she doesn't want to answer it.
You know what? I'll save that for Aaron.
No, Aaron's in jail. You're on the stream. Aaron's in jail. He can't answer that one. Not right now. We want it from you. And let's not throw other people under the bus. You know what the comment is about, Marlin. Come on now.
I'll just say that people in glass houses, not you, I don't even know who you are, but people in glass houses really should throw stones.
Exactly the answer I was waiting for. Throw other people under the bus. Like, wasn't it that not long ago? I'm only covering this a couple of weeks now, and I've already caught Cheryl from something like 2 years ago contradicting herself over and over again on a video. There was probably many more. I only took a section of video, and she was going off about people being arrested, and she was referring to a guy called Scotty Hogstetter, who was a kind of he was a flamboyant protester and a kind of a piss taker. And in the beginning I thought it was awful funny. You know, he would come up to, you know, he would be outside, you know, the La Poubelle restaurant in LA, where a lot of them were protesting outside. So they had to get extra security, and there's this canopy outside the restaurant, right? And there's two security guards standing on each side of the flipping door, helping people in and protecting the premises, etc. and Scotty would take out another phone and start playing funny songs to try to get them to crack, because they would just stand there, motionless. And Scotty would start to tell them jokes and then start playing funny songs and stuff like that. But he started the spiral. He started to get out of control. A bit like Aaron had began to do. Like, before all of this, it was the protesters. It was the LA protesters, and then there was Aaron, who was commentating on the protesters and giving people news and all the rest of it. Then he started protesting himself, and then he started the spiral. But interesting here that Marlon is throwing somebody else under the bus and she's avoiding the comment by throwing somebody else under the bus. But she starts to get it wrong at the end. She's looking for a way. She's looking for a way out here. She knows that his comment is fired straight at Aaron Smith-Levin, and she is trying. How do I turn this one? How do I turn this one around? And that's why there was a bit of a pause, because she said, "What the fuck am I going to do now?" So I'll go back a tiny bit. I'll just show you the pause here.
But people with glasses really should throw some.
No. Hold on.
And I'll just say that.
Right, she's reading now.
Okay. I'll save that for Aaron. I'll just say that people in glass houses, not you, I don't even know who you are, but people in glass houses really should throw stones. And I mean, honestly, I don't judge people for how they protest, and I don't think anybody else should either. Myself, I'm more like an emotional person, and I like to, I've only protested Scientology. Yeah. And I just love, and hold the sign and wave at people and say thank you when they meet, But that's my style. And it doesn't matter. I'm just too, I would be too scared to go up to a Scientologist and say anything but else doesn't seem to have any qualms about it.
But you see, the thing is, I'm not referring to Marlon when I made that comment. She knows damn rightly who I'm talking about here, and she's just avoiding it. And the reason, and that is interesting in itself. So here's what I think. She's afraid to call this guy out. She knows I'm talking about Aaron, and I tell you, I'll talk to you in a minute about why I think she's afraid to call out Aaron.
But he's admonishing other people not to do it, and he pissed another whole camp off yesterday too, which I will not go into. I won't even mention the names, but
yeah, you're talking about DOA, aren't you? I think. You see, there's double standards all over this community, and you see, it's an easy answer to give. It means you can avoid answering truthfully what it's all about. Why would you avoid the comment by throwing somebody else under the bus if you thought Aaron behaved in a proper way? If you thought Aaron behaved in a proper way and it's everybody else's fault, why are you avoiding this in some sort of way? You see where I'm coming from here? And I think I might have an answer to that one.
He's in the freaking doghouse. George is laughing at me.
But Aaron's in the doghouse too. Marlon. Aaron is in the doghouse too. That's why you're live on his channel and he's not. Because he's in jail. This didn't go well. This didn't go well for her at all. It's after this I got blocked. I wonder why. You see, sometimes you have to answer the difficult questions, and you have to challenge yourself. Are you going down the right path by supporting somebody that is spiraling? Are you helping somebody that's spiraling by enabling them and and making up excuses for them and blaming other people like the judge, rather than saying, Aaron, I'm your friend, stop fucking about or you'll screw up your life. I'm telling you as a friend. That's what friends do. That's what my friend's done.
I think that was number 3, so that won't demonetize. What? Are you writing to me? Oh, I don't see it. Oh, okay. No. Like just now? Oh, before. Oh, about the... Yeah. He didn't get it right. They put handcuffs on him and took him off, I think. Yeah.
Are we talking... Yeah, I think she might be talking about Alex Barnes-Ross, I think.
Because Scientology...
You see, if you don't bring up the comment, we don't know what you're talking about.
I don't... You know what? I don't even want to give him the clout. You'll have to go watch his video. I don't even want to mention... He was name-dropping a very famous movie star, which... Whatever. Yeah, great. Oh, okay. Alex had a... Alex had a resurrecting fool. Okay.
Mother of Jeannie Mac. You think this is about Alex? It's not. It was about Aaron. She's fucking relieved. Oh, I can get out of this one because I can blame someone else. I'll tell you why this is happening. Sorry about that. I had to stop because I forgot I was frying an egg and I burnt it. But while I was eating my crispy egg, Jenna Miscavige came back on with another live stream on Aaron's channel, whinging and crying about this judge. Now, there's a possibility that he might have got stung on this one, this particular guilty plea. He might have got a wee bit stung a bit too much. But the first trial, I don't know how he got away with it. But Jenna coming on to Aaron's channel and enabling all these people to go and report the judge. Well, she didn't say that directly. She says she's made it a public announcement in the first live stream for anybody who was in the court to report the judge. Then the toxic comments was coming up, and you know, when people have a big die-hard fan base that will back them up no matter what shitty things they do, some of these people are flipping nuts. I brought up one of the comments in a previous video. The judge should go to the gallows, it said in that comment. That is a death threat which could land that person in big trouble. Where did this escalate from? Jenna Miscavige. Now, getting back to the point. Marilyn avoiding the comment, knowing the comment was directed at Aaron Smith Leroy. You see, the thing is, and these people, Marilyn, Cheryl, Eric, all these people that are Aaron's friends, and possibly some people in the chat they know well, don't necessarily have a channel or whatever, but know them well enough to have enough information on them. Do you know where I'm going with this? It's like a Scientology tactic. What is the weapon that is pointing at them to say the things and back this guy up. You see, Aaron, and I think Jenna said that this possibly was her idea. Use the members only stream to take the drama away from the mainstream videos, and do all the attacking on the members only. Who did they attack? Nora Ames and Liz Gale. Who is Nora Ames and Liz Gale? They are former friends and associates of Aaron Smith-Levin, and they're getting shit on because they spoke out against his behaviour. So these people are caught by the short and curlies, because if they speak out against Aaron, you're going to have a big load of people from the chat piling on them, along with Aaron possibly and Jenna piling on them in the members only stream. You're going to star in the members only stream if you speak one word against them. If you're against him is maybe a wee bit too harsh, but tell him to cop himself on and stop messing about. That's what friends do, but they can't do that because some of these people may be a little bit scared that they might become a star on the members only let's attack our former friends episodes. Do you see where I'm going with this? And what do people, what other people do those kinds of things? Gather information, and then further down the line, if things go wrong, they can use those things to attack the other person. You see where I'm going with this one? So, maybe these people are afraid to say what they think. Now, I didn't see the full of Natalie Webster's stream on Aaron's channel. I was actually surprised to see Natalie back, because I was under the impression that, yes, she was moving house and trying to get on with life, but coming back onto YouTube at the time that she was kind of due back, kind of was a rocky time, let's just say. And she may be asked in the chat her opinions on a certain person called Aaron Smith-Levin, and she avoided talking about these kinds of things before, especially with the Aaron and Jenna big bust up, public spat at each other, and Jenna saying that Aaron, done certain things and behaved in a certain way. Natalie kept it neutral. Was on Jenna's side, was also on Aaron's side. So she kind of said a lot of things, but said nothing at all. But Nora Ames brought up that Natalie kind of almost said what she was thinking and then just kind of twirled around a bit. She almost got there, but is Natalie in the same boat as the rest of them? Possibly. You see, Aaron will not be forced to take accountability by any of these people, in my opinion, because the members only streams attacking other former friends is the gun that is pointed at them. Stay in line or these things will happen. That's what it looks like. And Scientology, from what I gather, you don't try not give your name, don't give any personal information on yourself, blah, 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 blah. But when you're in Scientology, you have to give all these things. And sometimes have to give away a lot of things that you're thinking about, or personal things that may be a little bit embarrassing. And then that is filed away for a time until you mess up. And then that is used against you. That's the same flipping behaviour that's happening over on Aaron's channel. And it's kind of alarming. I'm saying that's my opinion, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together here. I'm not coming up with 5, I'm coming up with 4. You see where I'm coming from. Liz Gale, former board member of Stupid People TV Foundation, and Nora Ames, highly connected with Aaron Smith-Levin. Both of them spoke out on Aaron Smith-Levin. Both of them got slated hard on these members only streams. Apparently it was Jenna's idea to hide them behind a paywall to keep the normal videos for the normal public out of as much drama as possible. But then, you know, sometimes drama ends up spilling out onto it anyway. Even in the middle of a protest, Aaron may have an unhinged rant about Nora or about Liz. You see some of these people are probably looking at it and say, we step out of line, we got a whole flipping chat that's going to flip and come down on me like a ton of bricks for saying what I think, so I'm going to pretend that everything is okay, and Aaron is Aaron is never in the wrong. He's always in the right, and it's Scientology and it's USA's fault, or whatever. As I says, while I was eating my egg, Jenna Miscavige came on again and is doing the same flipping thing about whinging about this judge. Shut the fuck up about the judge in a public live stream, for God's sake. How stupid can you be? You got an issue with the judge, contact these other people who are in the courtroom, talk to them privately, and then take action privately. Don't bring the public into it, because some of those people in your chat are lunatics. I'm not labelling them all as lunatics, but it's quite obvious that when you have a big YouTube channel, there is going to be a certain percentage that are a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Like the person that said that this judge should go to the gallows. That's a fucking death threat. Do you know? I don't know if the deleted that comment, but it was caught. It was caught, and I caught it. I caught it off. I got it off there. It's just, yeah. Anybody in that chat, if you have a personal, if they have opinion on Aaron Smith-Levin, that he truly needs to sort of, smell the coffee and realise that, since he started protesting, things will be starting to spiral, and it's not all other people's fault. They can't do that. They're fucked. They can't do that. I tried doing that. I tried doing that in a very, very, very supple way. So supple, because I knew I was dealing with a hard crowd. I was dealing with a difficult group here, and whoever was starring the comments and that, I think it might have been Cheryl or Eric or somebody, but I knew Cheryl was there. But I got, after that stream, they kind of figured out who I was and what was the original channel. Came over and they came over and they some of them had some spicy things to say. Now, what they try to do is they try to make me angry. That's what these kinds of trolls do. And the way to tackle a troll is they want to mess with you because their goal is to make you crack and get you angry. That's their goal. But if you respond by get well soon and start fucking with them, you know, in a comedy kind of way, they soon give up. You know, because there was one guy and he tried his best to fuck with me, and I just came up with just funny answers, and you know, he was telling me that I should go out and go and live my life because all you're doing is sitting here on the internet being hateful, and I'm living the dream. And I says, well, you're not really living the dream, you're just sitting here chatting to me, but you know, if you want to, you know, you should go out and touch grass, but if you know, if you don't want to and you want to continue this lovely conversation, you're very welcome. And then, you know, when some trolls, they find it hard to come up with an answer to that, and you only got 333 subscribers, you know, what a joke. And then I click on his channel, he's got 3 subscribers and no videos. And I went, you know, you fucked up. You're telling me that I've only got 333 subscribers. You only have 3 and no videos. So what are you talking about? You know? Wasn't saying it in an angry kind of way. But he ended up deleting the comment. But, you know, it went on for ages. And the more he went on, the more comments was happening under a video, which is engagement, you know. But one thing that I'm going to say about these types of people that come into my comment section, don't sort of worry too much about me, because I sometimes like messing with these people, and I have a bit of a laugh doing it. You can challenge me, but if you start name calling and insulting, and you know the moral standard there. You start crossing that, you're gonna get chucked. But if you mess with any of my viewers, you are going to get messed. You are going to get fucked off, and you're not going to be allowed back in. And any of the people in my comment section, if you have a problem with somebody, please comment under a video, and if I don't see it, comment again until I do see it. I'll respond and I'll deal with it. You know, I don't mind being messed with. I don't want my people in the comments being messed with, you know. But yes, so it's kind of like SPTV is a bit like Scientology Max. All of the taste but no sugar, if you know what I'm saying. It's this kind of fair game tactics. I knew there was something about this members only crack. And I thought there was more to it than just Nora and Liz Gale. I knew there was something about it. And these people, you know, and especially that comment that I had for Marilyn there, she knew damn rightly that I was referring to Aaron. He's arrested, he's in jail, and you're covering for them. What do you think that comment is about? You know, I know Marilyn can be a wee bit, the penny drops at a different time than she thinks it does, if you know what I'm saying. You know, but she knew that comment was about Aaron, and she went and avoided it, and she says, well, what about him, and what about him? I said, I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about Aaron, basically. You see, the avoidance. And she wanted to get out of that situation because she didn't want to talk about Aaron, because she was kind of, was pausing here and says, I'm probably saying if I fuck up here, I'm fucked. I'm going to have a whole fucking angry mob after me in the comment section, and then Aaron's going to get mad with me and then not be my friend anymore, and then start making videos in members only, calling me every name under the sun, and anything personal that I've spoken to about Aaron is going to be spilled all over the internet, including messages, which he's a habit of doing. I thought messages were supposed to be private messages. Do you know, people, in the modern age, they call them DMs, direct messages. We used to call them private messages. That's why there were messages. A message personally to somebody else. It's not meant for anybody else. So why are we using private messages to get back at people and bringing them up in public? To me, that crosses a moral boundary, but it seems to be a different thing in this modern world. I don't starting to not like this modern world with these deterioration in values, if you know what I'm saying. If we're going to start using private messages as a weapon when they're supposed to be private. I know it's 2026, and there's possibly a different interpretation to privacy, but when you're writing a personal message, that's what we used to call them, personal messages. They're personal to one person, not to the public. Which brings me on to another flipping point. If a person that's a leader of a foundation, right, is using private messages to get back at somebody, bringing up private messages, which is breaching privacy, how could you trust that person in a foundation that is dealing with vulnerable people leaving Scientology, very often having psychological issues and bits and pieces, and to get the help they need, they will have to talk about some personal stuff, and that personal stuff has to be handled with kid gloves, not spilt all over the fucking internet, if you know what I mean. Again, I don't know what SPTV is anymore. It's labelled as a foundation, so we look like we care, but we don't seem to care, because Aaron says, I'm not out to help people when he's protesting. He's not out to help people, he's out to protest. But if somebody needed your help while you were protesting, would you not help them? Or would you say, fuck off and come back tomorrow because I'm protesting today? Contact me between 9 and 5 during business hours. That's not the way these things work, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, it's kind of concerning, this members only thing, and I'm thinking that this is a weapon. And it's not a weapon as us that are not friends with Aaron. It's a weapon on his friends. They turn against him, he's going to fucking slate them in this members only. So we're going to have more people other than Nora and Liz in the members only. If one of these people turns around to Aaron and says, listen Aaron, you're flipping whatever the age you are, you need to cop yourself on and stop playing silly buggers here, because you're going to land yourself in more trouble. Stop doing that. Another short that I covered. Kind of taking the piss out of Jenna with this thing about the judge and stuff. Somebody had brought up a point. What they're doing basically is eating their own tail. First of all, I already said this. This thing about the judge, I understand that Jenna is angry and sad or whatever, and is emotional about Aaron getting arrested and stuff. But what she's doing is she's rattling up, and I've said this, she's rattling up fans. Some of them, let's face it, you got a load of fans. You're not going to know them personally. Some of them are fucking lunatics. I'm not labelling all of Aaron's fans lunatics or anything like that. But when you have a big enough channel and a lot of die-hard followers, some of them are going to be fucking fruity as fuck. So you have to tread carefully, and you have to be careful what you say. And here, at this moment in time, while I'm recording this, Jenna is back over there whinging and crying about the judge. And it's worse than you'd think. That's what the name of the stream is. So, what they're basically doing is they're eating their own tail. All this thing should have been done in private, not in public, because, you know, some of the public are lunatics, but she was basically addressing the people that were in the court that day, asking them to report the judge. But some people don't understand those things. And there's going to be people in the chat saying, I'm fucking angry too, and I'm going to report the judge too. And I'm going to say she needs to be fucking sacked, and all the rest of it. That's not a good look. Because if this judge gets dogpiled, and some sort of investigation has to happen, it's all going to go back on Jenna Miscavige for rattling up fans in the way she did. And she may have said that I'm asking the people in the court to report the judge. That means I didn't say for the public to report the judge, but she said it publicly. Some of these people don't understand what you say is half the time. I'm in on YouTube long enough to know that sometimes you say things and you explain things, and next thing somebody in the comments asks you to explain something that you've already explained in the flipping video, or misunderstand what you said in the video. Some of these people will misunderstand what you said in the live stream and say and think that Jenna is telling us all to go flipping report this judge, which she isn't saying. But some people don't understand. Some people are fruity. So, if there is a dogpiling on this judge and an investigation has to happen, some people that may get very unhinged may get into legal trouble, but then they have to investigate where did this all start. It started with Aaron-Smith-Levin, which is, you know, it's not going to put Aaron in a very good light. And then Jenna doing these live streams. This is the second one now. You see, we know that Aaron has kind of spiraled the last while. He tends to get himself too close to the action, if you know what I'm saying. And there's a possibility that might happen in the future in Clearwater. And what happens if he gets into a similar scrape than he has had these last 2 times? Well, he's going to end up in court again. And what is a very, very good chance that's going to happen, that he could land in front of the same judge again. The very judge that they're shitting on right now. So basically they're eating their own tail. They just don't think before they talk. You know, this is kind of, Some people I just don't understand. But here's the thing too. I had a comment, and the comment was, Aaron has to do a mental health evaluation, and when the mental health evaluation happens, he will never walk out of that jail ever again. And I'm saying, you know, this person, you know, they've commented before, and they're you know, they're generally fine, but I'm going to disagree at this point. I don't want to be surrounded by yes men. If I say something that's you don't agree with, you can disagree with me respectfully. I don't care. That's what life is all about. If we all agreed with each other 100% of the time, we would be in a very boring world. But I disagreed. And what I mean is, yes, Aaron has spiraled over the last while. He's got anger issues. But then again, the mental health assessment would be because of this previous case, not this other shit that he's been doing, including the problems he's had with 3 relationships that we know of. And I kind of disagreed with the comment because I was saying Aaron's got anger issues, he's spiraled the last while, he thinks he's the fucking greatest, and he's a manipulator, something to that effect. But those things can be fixed. But this mental health evaluation mightn't be the bad news that you might think. There's a possibility that it might be the thing that gets him to think and say, listen, last fucking while things have been getting rough, and maybe it wasn't everybody else's fault. Maybe I have some sort of responsibility for some of this. Maybe I get rattled up a wee bit too much, or maybe, you know, I start. But you see, the mental health assessment could be the spark, or could be the seed for self-admittance. But self-admittance is the start of some sort of recovery of some kind. But if you don't admit to yourself that you know, are kind of going down the wrong path, you're going to continue going down the wrong path. And if your friends are backing you up going down that wrong path, they're not really good friends, are you? And I explained to this person that made the comment, I used to blame everybody else for my problems. When I came to, and then I eventually realised that, yeah, maybe I am the problem. Everybody else is not having these problems like I'm having. Maybe it's something that I'm doing. Maybe it's my attitude. Maybe it's not always other people's fault. You know, and anytime there was a problem, it was always somebody else's fault. We see the same thing with Cecil Wayne Carr right up to this day. It's always somebody else's fault. And there was one of my friends, and she was kind of trying to help me along the way. And she came to a point, and she says, I'm your friend. I don't like to see you like this, but I am going to let you sink to rock bottom, because that's all I've got anymore. That's all I can do. I've tried everything else with you, and I have to let you hit rock bottom. I'll lift you back up when you hit rock bottom, but you're not listening to me. And things in my life started going downhill. And then, when it did go downhill, that's when I had a realization that, yeah, maybe I need to have a change of attitude towards and deal with problems in a different way. And that's why I'm a sort of a way more calmer person now. Sometimes that has to happen. You see, what was happening and what my friend was trying to explain to me was, you have the house that's built on a good foundation, right? And then you have the house that's built on sand. And the house that's built on a good foundation is going to be a strong house and it's going to last a long time. The house that's built on sand is going to start sinking, and the walls are going to crack. And you can put plaster over the cracks, but those cracks are still there. And those cracks will reappear every so often, and you keep plastering in the cracks. That's what's happening with you. With me trying to help you out this moment. So if you hit rock bottom, you have to start again, and you can start on a more solid foundation. And that's basically how it sort of happens. But if Aaron thinks he's God's gift and continues to thinking he's God's gift, and all these people are backing him up and saying, oh, it was Osa, it was Nora, it was Liz, or it was somebody else, all the time blaming other people and throwing other people under the bus, Aaron is going to keep doing what he's doing. But they're going to continue along this path because members only is there like a big fucking nuclear weapon pointing at every single one of them. Stay in line or press the red button. That's what I think. And it's a sad situation for them because that's the same sort of behaviour that people explain that Scientology is. So it's kind of fair game behaviour. It's Scientology behaviour. They don't like Scientology, yet they're doing Scientology things because that's what they were trained in. I thought you're trying to recover from Scientology by not doing Scientology things. But you come on the internet, we're going to fight, we're going to protest Scientology, but then doing Scientology things, but not calling it Scientology things, doesn't mean it's not Scientology things. Because that's Scientology behaviour, that's the way some of them are trained. That's how you deal with shit. You force them into silence. You use the dirt on them as a weapon. You point a weapon at them and say, if you get out of the line, you're going to be one of the stars on my members only live stream. He didn't physically say that, but that's the way it looks. You can say you're talking bollocks, but who are they discussing on members only? Nora and Liz, former friends that had enough and turned around and said, I can't support this shit. It looks bad on me and I don't like this kind of behaviour. It's not, I can't support that personally because that's not the person I am. And it kind of looks bad if you back that kind of person up, and you have sometimes go, yeah, he's my friend, right? But I can't stay quiet about it anymore. So I'm going to have to speak out about it because it's bugging the shit out of me. And that's what these people did. And what did they get in return? They got dogpiled by a toxic community that's rattled up around Aaron-Smith-Levin, who's fucking rattling them together, never saying, to be calm. I haven't seen Jenna Miscavige's stream that's on now. But if she hasn't, well, the little bits that I heard, she's not restoring calm, but that's what she should be doing. Listen calm the fuck down. We'll deal with this behind the scenes. Because she shouldn't have said anything in the first place about the judge. You know, she had resorted to name calling in the first string. Bad idea. If you start calling, start resorting, it's in kind of an unwritten YouTube rule. Don't resort to personal insults or name calling. And she was name calling. She was calling her a bitch and everything. I mean, like, she was flipping angry, emotional. And I was saying to a person in another comment, Jenna is talking out of anger and frustration. And once you start speaking out of anger without sitting down thinking, speaking out of anger sometimes makes, maybe us all, say things that we can't take back. The best thing to do is calm down. When you calm down, you can think in a more logical mind. Because if you speak out of anger, you're not talking or thinking in a logical way. And you're liable to say or do actions that you might regret later when you have calmed down and you're thinking there, oh shit, I fucked up. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I shouldn't have said that. We've all been there. We've all, but when you get older, you kind of realize, well, some of us do anyway, that when you are angry about a situation, you can't just come on a live stream and start flipping, getting angry on the internet about it, because you're going to come out some stupid shit. That's why, a lot of the time, when I'm covering Cecil Wayne Carroll, a lot of the stuff that I cover is him doing kitchen rants, because he cannot wait to say what is on his mind, because he's rattled up, he's angry, and he presses record. Sometimes the camera's pointing in the right direction, sometimes it's sideways. You have to look at the video like this, sideways, because he's angry, he's not thinking, he presses record, I'm going to say this, you're all so-and-so, you're all retards and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, are you talking about us, or are you talking about your followers? Because you've just said that in a general sense, but I think at this stage he realizes that the only people that follow him are the people that criticize him. I don't know why this camera is going blurry, but anyway, I think I've said all I have to say. I know the camera's going bad because the lighting isn't great and stuff like that, and it doesn't seem to be wanting to fix. But I think I've said all I wanted to say for tonight. It's restored. What I said tonight is kind of my opinion, but it kind of makes sense if you know what I'm saying. With the history, the members only thing. Why are they using the members only? Because Aaron wants to. When Aaron gets angry, he wants to talk about the norovirus, or Dark Nora, or whatever the fuck it is. Because he's rattled up, he's sitting there and he's going, that Nora's a bitch. You see what she just fucking said yesterday about me and blah 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 blah. I'm going to release my frustrations on the interballs by going live. And first of all, he was doing it live in the middle, for everyone to see. So one video could be, let's talk about Scientology in LA, what's happening, what happened yesterday in LA, what happened in Clearwater last week, and then another video, let's talk about Nora. And it's kind of, he knew sort of that, this is kind of a bad reputation. We're trying to talk about Scientology here, but I keep talking about Nora. And I want to keep talking about Nora, but I don't want to tarnish my channel, which is already going downhill. So how do I deal with this? I put it behind a paywall, so... And I could make some money, because people love drama, don't they? So, I'll put it behind a paywall, which means it's separated from my main content, and it won't affect my channel. It's a bit too late now. But these people in these chats thinks that they're safe. They have another thing coming, and I think some of his friends realise that maybe we're not safe after all, because we... and maybe some of those friends say, do you know something? I think Aaron is out of line. I think Aaron is fucking spiraling, because look at all the scrapes he's been in the last couple of years. I mean, like, getting arrested and bringing the site down. I'm actually disappointed, but I can't fucking say anything, because I'm going to end up like Nora on the members only stream. So I'm not going to say anything. I think Aaron's the best. He's the greatest.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
And if somebody brings up a comment about people being arrested and stuff, I'm going to throw somebody else under the bus. I'm not going to talk about Aaron. But I'm going to think about it for a couple of seconds, Marlon, because I don't know what to say at that moment in time without getting myself into trouble and ending up on a members only stream with Aaron shitting on me.
I have no clue what is going on.
You see where I'm coming from? But anyway, it's... Oh yeah, I want to end kind of positively here. What's been not talked about when the ex-Scientology community is infighting? There's other people that are doing good work, and they're focused. They know what they're doing. They're not derailed by people's misbehaviour and getting arrested because they can't behave themselves. And now, when you see my shorts, I take the piss a lot. And I use kind of humour to kind of cheer myself up. Because sometimes I go through a bit of stress. And to relieve stress, I like to be comical. I think the last short that I done with Jenna Miscavige, it was being in a comedic way, but in the middle of that, I took a clip from a film called Hot Fuzz. It was a UK film, and there was parts of that film where the film was based around a cult, and this policeman was trying to bring down this cult, trying to uncover this cult, and he eventually catches them, and they're out in the middle of the woods with these flipping cloaks on, and they're going, for the greater good, kind of thing.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Shut it!
That was kind of a little subtle message here. You know, that we need to get Aaron out of trouble, but we don't need to make him take accountability, because Aaron's the best and he doesn't do anything wrong. And it's for the greater good that Aaron is supported as much as possible by giving him a pat on the back for risking himself and being that hero, which he isn't. And took a clip, you know, the clip was basically Jenna saying, we need to report this judge, kind of thing. And there was another part of this clip where the main cop in the film is standing in front of all these cult members and saying, you call yourself a community, you're a disgrace. That was a direct.
Oh, come, Sergeant. You should be ashamed. Calling yourself a community that cares.
Oh, but we do care, Nicholas.
Inside a comedic video, when I edited it together and stuff, I said, right, I want to make a statement here. And I didn't realise until I played it over and over again after it was released, that actually is a powerful statement. And somebody actually said, one of my first comments says, there was comedy in there, but you stuck in that serious message.
Be ashamed. Calling yourself a community that cares.
And I thought it flipping made an impact. And it made more of an impact than I thought it would at first. Do you know? So sometimes I do these shorts and I'm taking the piss. But I do slip in that little bit of seriousness there. But you might think that I love messing with these people and stuff like that. And I'm a bit of a goof, and I don't really care about Scientology. There's been so many stories about Scientologists that escaped Scientology. And I'm sitting watching them, and I'm in tears. I'm an emotional person, you know? And there was a recent live stream, and it was Voices Down Under. And she and a couple of friends were outside this Scientology place in Australia. And then they rolled out this big roll of paper. And it's all the names of people that died because of Scientology. And it went halfway up the flipping street. There was over 600 or something like that on it. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and the camera's rolling up to it. I know what happened before the time Liz Gale and all these people, even I think Aaron was there too, where they roll out this line of people on a piece of big scroll paper. That hits me every flipping time, you know. I'm lucky I have never been in that situation. I've been in Scientology or anything like that. I'm an outsider. But I've looked at an awful lot of content, and I kind of what brought my attention to it was all these people protesting in LA and stuff like that, and then saw Aaron's channel. Aaron at the time was doing flipping great educational stuff. I learned a lot about Scientology from Aaron's channel. But then when he started protesting, it just went downhill. I think he should have never bothered protesting and just done this kind of educational stuff, because he was good at it. Once he started getting too active, he got too cocky, he got too confident. Some people are built for protesting, some people are not. I don't think Aaron is, you know. Aaron had his place, and that was educating the people, and he'd done a great job of that. But now it's a mess, because he's caught up in drama, he's caught up in flipping lolcow stupid shit, being over cocky before cases.
Aaron is here. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be
in jail.
That's a bad sign.
I am fully prepared.
Are you sure about that?
He's going to be cross.
This is a slam dunk case.
Two and 0, baby. 2-0.
I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with the sign now. Maybe it's just funny to have it at the protests, even after I'm found not guilty.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys. Good evening.
Oh, dear Lord. He's already fucked up.
Welcome to Aaron's channel.
Hope you're all well.
Eric and I are going to be streaming this live from his channel to keep his things going, help our friend Aaron out a bit while he's away on vacation.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm not Aaron. But I have talked to him a few times since he's been in jail. What is this, day 3 or 4? I meant to check.
What language is that?
And I'm here today filling in for Aaron.
Big bald fuck.
He's also my boyfriend, and I'm filling in for him today because, unfortunately, he is in jail.
That's the fuck around and find out that you can get to
SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult.
And then landing himself in jail. I have to laugh at that shit because that's funny. But some of these things, some of these real stories and real stuff, I get emotional about it. I'm not a goof all the time. I'm an emotional person. You know, way back, was it 2015, it was 60 Minutes, sitting down watching 60 Minutes with a cup of tea, watching Valerie Haney's story and a reconstruction of her, you know, this film crew from outside comes in to this compound, the Scientology compound, and she's in the compound. She's getting paid not very much money. She starts talking to these people, and these people are saying how, you know, great it is, and, you know, their job is great, and they're getting great pay, and their lives are different and stuff like that. And I think she was born in Scientology, so she didn't know any different. And she, that sounds a lot better than what I'm doing. Maybe she had dogs before that and stuff like that. Before these people left, she went around, she snuck around the cars that weren't on security camera. She climbed into the back of one of them. And I'm sitting there, and the way the reconstruction was done, it makes you think, or gives you the impression you're that person. At that moment in time, you're Valerie Haney, and you're climbing into the boot of that car, and you're scared out of your life, and the car stops at a security post, and your heart is in your mouth. Are you going to get found out? And then you escape, and you go through some of those feelings, kind of thing, you know. And yeah, that was kind of. There was a lot of emotions in that. And then you're thinking, these people are flipping this. They're born into it, or they willingly go into it, and then they have to flip and escape to get out of it, rather than say, I'm finished, I can't do this anymore, I'm going, I'm leaving, I'm finished, I don't want to do it anymore. That's what you can do with normal things. But you have to escape. And then they're allowed to continue operating. When you have to escape, is that not a red flag to the governments of this country or this world that Scientology isn't really a good thing? I'm only tipping on the iceberg here because, you know, people went through really bad stuff. People died. More bigger red flags. All ignored by governments and law enforcement. And I'm wondering, why the flip is that? Well, a lot of other ordinary organisations, they're like this. They're just the organisation. They do bad things, they do illegal stuff, they get shut down, they get eliminated by law enforcement or government. But then Scientology is like that. They're interwebbed into governments, they're interwebbed into the police force, they're interwebbed into politicians and stuff like that. It's a bit more complicated. I come to realise that you can't just shut Scientology down because they've done horrible things. They're propped up by very powerful people. They're probably blackmailed by flipping very powerful people. I covered a guy from the Guardian's office, they call it OSA now, who says they're not afraid of fucking police people or government ministers. They've actually flipping broke into government fucking buildings and stole paperwork. They don't give a fuck. You know? How they operate now, I don't know, because, you know, security cameras are more common now, but way back when this guy was telling a story, you know, there was the odd security camera, and chances are if you ran fast enough, all you'd see on the camera would be a blur. They were that bad, you know. But yes, I can take the piss, and I can take the piss out of Aaron, but you see, gets so cocky and that, and then he ends up and shit. I think that part of it's funny, but behind it all, there is flipping. I do think about things seriously and stuff, you know, and in the comments, there has been people that, you know, talked about their effects from Scientology. And tears came down my face for them. You know? I could only imagine what they go through because I didn't go through it. I'm lucky I didn't go through it. But some of these people have. And this movement was supposed to fight against all of that, but now it's kind of, there's infighting, and it's all, some of it's lost in the sauce. Yet there's still other people out there, they're protesting, they're doing great things. They're getting overshadowed, which is kind of sad. But hats off to the people that do it. I did see that actually William Good was back protesting outside an LA Scientology building on his own. Don't know what happened to all this crew that they had before, but you know, there's people out there doing great stuff, and it's not all about aaronsmith-levin. Just saying, like, you know what I mean? But he's kind of good for making shorts, and he's very good when it comes to taking the piss, because he just walks himself into a lot of stuff. Do I want to have a back and forth with these people? Not really. What I would like to see is them coming to a realization that they're backing the wrong horse. I mean, like, you're backing a guy that's done really shitty things on flipping camera. I mean, like, how stupid can you be? You can't back out of that shit. Yet Aaron tends to make excuses for it, that it's not his fault. And when you look at the videos, it's quite obvious it's his fault. But because he said it, his viewers say, yeah, Aaron, you're absolutely right. It was that person's fault, not yours. Are you watching different videos than me? Because, you know, gee, man. But anyway, I think I've said all I had to say tonight and that, and I'm offloading what was in my head. But, you know, fair play to those people that are going out protesting, making changes and stuff like that, and staying out of the drama and stuff like that, and keeping on the path that you were in before all this drama and stuff, and focusing, because it's not about you. It's about some guy that got arrested because he's doing silly buggers. I'm not doing silly buggers. I'm doing my protesting, and I'm going to continue doing my protesting. That needs to happen too, and that's been happening. And part of me feels bad because I'm talking about Aaron, I'm talking about these situations so much, but there's people out there, you know, there's people out there, those Australian people out there doing those things, and I watch their streams, you know, and Voices Down Under, she has this kind of kindness about her, education, not just shouting and stuff like that. Shouting at Scientologists only sort of backs up the belief that people on the outside of Scientology are not, well, we say in the Christian way, they're not saved, if you know what I mean. You know more than they do because you're in Scientology and you got the information, you got a path forward. These people outside of Scientology, they're all lost. Or we'd say in the Christian world, there is a lot of lost sheep out there. And in the Scientology world, the people outside Scientology are the lost sheep, if you know what I'm saying. That only backs up their flipping argument. Look at them all fighting amongst each other. Why the fuck would you want to go out into the real world when Scientology has the bridge to total freedom, which doesn't exactly exist in Scientology? Because when you look back on history, when has anybody in Scientology been free to do anything? They're stuck there for the rest of their lives. Maybe they get a big job with a big name and still get shitty money, but if they do something wrong, they end up scrubbing toilets with a toothbrush for 2 years or something like that. How is that the bridge to total freedom? You know? The way these people are protesting is planting seeds. And if there was a Scientology building near me and I was protesting, I think that would be my approach. Planting seeds, kindness, giving the good impression. You put your best foot forward. We're not all shitheads. We can be nice too. And then seeing Scientologists as victims rather than shouting at them. I'm talking about you, Eric, and Matteo. Because Matteo is the type of person that I think I would have a conversation with. Matteo might still be, would be still stuck in the Scientology way of thinking and stuff, but if he ever goes to bed one night questioning his life choices, maybe what you said in kindness may resurface in his mind and say, maybe that was a good point. Maybe I should be thinking outside the Scientology box. Maybe there's better answers in my life outside of this box or this fish tank that I'm in. Maybe I am in a flippin' fish tank, and I'm not as free as I thought I was. Because you planted a seed with kindness. I'll leave that one with you. And I'll leave it on a kind of more positive note, because that's all I have to say. And God knows how long I went rambling on. I'm not a professional at this. I don't have a big production or anything like that. I'm learning to do things better, but you know, at least I get to say what I have to say. But anyway, talk to you soon. Hope to see you in a future video. Take care out there and be good. Talk to you next time.
Hi, it's me, Roger. Hello! The fuck around and find out guy. I want to talk to you a little bit about
Aaron Smith-Levin.
Big bald fuck.
And so over here in the fuck around, we're going to call this the learn.
Ow! Ow! What did you just do? You just hurt me. You just injured my foot.
Here you go. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with the sign now. Maybe it's just funny to have it at the protests, even after I'm found not guilty.
So that your find out can be earned.
I'm here today filling in for Aaron. He's also my boyfriend, and I'm filling in for him today because, unfortunately, he is in jail.
Bet you didn't see that coming. Ha ha!
Okay? The more that you learn...
That's an asshole. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm a combat veteran PTSD fucker.
The more that you can earn.
Am I going to be in jail overnight?
Felony.
Okay? The more you learn, the more you earn. That's the fuck around and find out that you can get through
SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult.